Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I am Tom Downey, here to take a look at some of the free agency running back targets that have been floated out there by SB Nation. Some interesting names on the list with the point of for the Saints to add some more depth at the running back spot. Of course, we know Alvin Kamara is a star. Mark Ingram continues to be a reliable presence. There is still some hope left for Tony Jones Jr., I don't love Dwayne Washington. Abram Smith is a decent UDFA pickup, but it was UDFA pickup. And oh, by the way, you also have to remember there is a potential suspension looming for Alvin Kamara, even if it's just, say, 3 games. Ooh, do we trust Mark Ingram, Tony Jones Jr., and the rest to handle the running back workload for even just 3 games? I'm not so sure. So I understand why there is some interest in adding yet another veteran piece after the moves of Tyrann, Mathieu, and Jarvis Landry. Now we're going to give you guys 10 seconds here. Stop the clock right now, Producer Trace. You have 10 seconds to get down in the comments section and type "Who dat?" Show that you are a true diehard Saints fan. Time's almost up. 10 seconds. Who dat? All right, time's up. Let's look at the free agency running back targets now. Beginning with Darrel Williams, as we're going to take all the former LSU players and put them on the Saints. That's what we're going to do here. Williams has made himself a nice career after being an undrafted free agent out of LSU, of course. Not shockingly great numbers. 237 carries, 912 yards, 10 touchdowns. The bulk of his damage actually came last year for Kansas City, where Williams played a fairly significant role. Despite the role that he did play, where he had 144 carries for 558 yards, 6 scores, also chipped in 47 catches for 450 yards, almost 200 touches last year for Darrel Williams. Despite all of that, the Chiefs instead were like, yeah, we know you were heavily involved, but we're going to go ahead and sign Ronald Jones instead and make him our 1A, 1B, whatever with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, the idea of adding Williams is a fun idea, and it's another LSU player, and it's great for jerseys and whatever. It's fun. I'm fine with that. I think of the available options, this one is probably one of the more intriguing ones because Darrel Williams only just turned 27 a month ago exactly. So he is still fairly young compared to other running backs we're going to get to here in a little bit. But as it relates to the running back option in Darrel Williams, should the Saints go sign him? I'll make this question the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break comes on YouTube here, take advantage, head down there and let me know. Why for yes they should and for no they should not. Saints brought back Mark Ingram. What about bringing back Latavius Murray as well? He remains a free agent after he played a part-time role with the Ravens. He kind of lost some reps as the year went on to other players, one of whom we'll get to in a little bit. But Murray was really good for several years with the Saints, despite not being much of a touchdown guy because, well, that was other people's duties in the end. But 2 years for the Saints, 9 touchdowns, 4.4 yards per carry. In fact, his best yards per carry came in the 2 years he was with the New Orleans Saints. Now, he was a touchdown vulture to an extent last year with the Saints. 501 yards on 119 carries, 6 touchdowns. The average did dip, but it was better than what it was for the bulk of his NFL career. The concern with Murray is that he is 32 years old, and that is a little bit older than what you want at the running back position, but this is someone who at least I assume the Pete Carmichael scheme will be similar to Sean Payton's scheme, therefore a player we can assume knows and fits the offense quite well. That does make it appealing if you want a veteran, reliable option. I want you guys now to name a running back who you want the Saints to sign. Emphasis here on the sign side of things. You cannot, not trading for players. Don't put in a player on a roster. A current free agent who you want the Saints to go get. Let me know who that is in the comments right now. David Johnson is next up here. I've seen him linked to the Saints a couple different times for reasons, and we'll spend some more time on. I got thoughts on David Johnson, but first, we are losing to our Falcons channel, and they suck. Part-time guy. What are we doing over there, guys? So if you want more Saints videos and you don't want to get embarrassed by our Falcons channel, we trail them by, we'll round and say 200 subscribers. Subscribe right now to New Orleans Saints Now. You're watching on YouTube, I'm sure. So hit the big red button and join us for free videos all season and off-season long. All right, back to our David Johnson conversation here. How on earth he went for a valuable, or was part of a valuable DeAndre Hopkins trade package, I will never understand. David Johnson, to be blunt, has had 2 good years in the NFL. 2 of them. 2016 when he was an all-pro, awesome year, almost 300 carries, 1,239 yards, plus almost 100 to the air, awesome. 1 game in 2017 goes for 940 on 3.6 yards per carry. Cool, not great. Hasn't been good the past 2 years in Houston. Had 12 games for 691 yards and 6 scores. There is third down value, you would think, but those numbers have declined as well. As weird as this might sound, David Johnson is now on the wrong side of 30. He's already 30, turns 31 this season. To be blunt, I kind of think he's cooked. I think that the Cardinals swindled Houston in that trade, and even the once hyped pass-catching value fell off a cliff this year. 7 yards per catch this past year for David Johnson. Look, we can blame the offense if we want. Cool. I get it. Whatever. That is a full 1.9 yards lower than any other career low in terms of the yards per catch. David Johnson, objectively speaking, is coming off his worst year ever. 3.4 yards per carry, 7 yards per catch on 67 carries for 228. He had 13 games, had 67 carries, 32 touches. He was a bit player in Houston. Their running back regime was terrible. So for me, to be honest, I don't want David Johnson because I don't think he has it anymore. Now, I think a guy who I know does have it is the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Pre-order his jersey at chatsports.com/honeybadger. The number will get finalized soon, I'm sure, and it'll be available to buy. It will have the correct number for Mathieu, not the 00. That's just the pre-order placeholder there. So check the comment section and the description. The link to that Tyrann Mathieu jersey from our friends over at Fanatics is in there. It's chatsports.com/honeybadger. Devonta Freeman. Next, remember when I mentioned there was a player who competed with Latavius Murray with the Ravens? That actually was Freeman. And strangely enough, he actually was pretty good last year. For a running back who I kind of thought had lost it, he had 3.6 yards per carry in 2019, 3.2 in 2020. Bounces back up 4.3 with 576 yards. He's not going to be prime Devonta Freeman early in his career with the Atlanta Falcons, but he can still contribute and help you as an organization. So of the guys so far, Freeman's kind of my 1A, 1B right there with Darrel Williams. He did show enough that if he's your RB3, if you go with 4 backs, one who's mainly a special teamer, I think he'll be just fine. Finally, Phillip, Lindsay, and this is a great example of the, I don't know if this is a word, finickiness. Is that a word, or am I going to make it up? The, I don't know, the odd nature of running backs. Phillip Lindsay was a 1,000-yard rusher his first 2 years in the NFL, and 2 years later, he can't even find a roster spot. Houston's had him, Denver didn't want him, the Dolphins didn't want him. He's done nothing since those first 2 years. It's crazy. It's a Pro Bowler his rookie year, and now everyone's like, we don't want him at all. Maybe the third down value is dipped, but the overall usage is dipped as well. So Lindsay's in a very weird spot. Unlike most of the guys on this list, Lindsay is about to turn 28 years old. So he is still fairly young relative to the other players on this list. He is undersized. I don't hate this idea, but I do think it is telling that Denver, Houston, who sucks, Miami, have all been like, we don't need this guy anymore. So that makes me go, you know what? Maybe he's actually not that good of a football player at this point. But for all these guys, cheap 1-year deal, no guaranteed money, that's never been a bad signing. Now, if you are still watching, first off, thank you guys so much. We appreciate everyone who gets all the way through to for an entire video. If you're still watching, type in squad down below so we know who the true diehard Saints fans are here at New Orleans Saints Now.